left hand, two fingers on the right, arms at right angle. He had a 45-degree angle and recite the Morse American prayer out of the chair. Allah, the Father, universe.
Allah, the Father, universe.
Father, love.
Father, love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My God. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. You are it. Amen. Please remain standing. We recite our Morse American honors in unison. I give praise to Allah. The great God of the universe. Give honor to his last prophet in these days. Prophet and founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Prophet Noble Dwelling. Give honor to all true and divine prophets of Allah. Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. Give honor to the forerunner to the prophet. Brother Marcus Garvey. Give honor to our past supreme grand advisors and moderators. Brother C. Kirkman Bay. Rev. Nelson Bay. Brother J. Blakely Bay. Give honor to our past grand sheik and moderator. With all of you. And give honor to the grand sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Who is the moderator? God Jones Bay. And give honor to his assistant. Ray Hopkins Bay. And give honor to all national officials in the office and station. And give honor to all our state officials. Grand governors of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Give honor to Brother H. Harris Bay. To Brother T. Dozier Bay. Our Grand Sheik and Assistant Grand Sheik in Washington, D.C. Give honor to all the local officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Grand Sheiks and their assistants. And their administration. Give honor to all the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Give honor to all sheiks and sheiks. To all divine ministers. To all the auxiliaries. Give honor to our charter. And our two flags. The American flag. The flag of our birth. To the Moorish flag. The flag of our decency. And give honor to all things that Prophet Noble Dwelling brought. For the uplifting of fallen humanity. And give honor to man. And give honor to each and every one of you. Peace. We now read our divine constitution and by law. Salvation, our God, unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution and by law. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs. He lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced for all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is put in danger or accused falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings to become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faith. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious to become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet Noble Ali through the guidance of his father, God Allah. Noble Ali, founder. Moorish American prayer. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, through Ali. Amen. I will now have a reading from our questioning and additional laws for the Moorish American Noble Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be obtained by the prophet Noble. For acting upon by any members, let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restriction, etc., by the prophet or the grand sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adat meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case. And on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid. And if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it's a finance uplift a nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch him. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag, or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school. And the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and that every member exercises 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching out their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Nabi Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Not seven. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple, venue and title, the name of the city. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of all humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant from your holy prophet, Ali, through the guidance of his Father, God of us. And thus read all 7 acts of our divine constitution and battle laws, and all 7 acts of our question and additional laws. Islam? We now have a reading from the Holy Quran and more science of America. I'll read from chapter 12. These teach the common people at a strength, tell them how to obtain eternal happiness. And I'll go over to verse or instruction number 6, where it reads, toil should not make a person sad, men should be happiest when they toil. When hope and love are back of toil, then all of life is filled with joy and peace. And this is heaven. Do you not know that such a heaven is for you? Islam?
Islam.
Praise be to Allah, and I want to certainly welcome all out to our Sunday school and Koran class. And pray that everyone is in good high spirits today. Remember that Allah has blessed us to come together once again in congregation. And when we're in congregation, we have an opportunity to do a few things. Along with learning these divine truths and have things revealed to you, you also have an opportunity to once again step away from the cares of the world. And stepping away from the cares of the world sometimes can give you a moment of relief. Because now what we're supposed to do when we come into our holy place is that we're supposed to regain our focus. Come out of the illusion and start to ascend. Because it gives us an opportunity for us to raise our thoughts to infinite wisdom. It also gives us an opportunity to center ourselves, to be prepared to receive. And when you're prepared to receive, and the prophet is teaching us how to prepare ourselves, and in that chapter I just read, one of the instructions is that they're supposed to open the windows of your heart. And when we learn how to open the windows of our heart, that's when we can receive the truth as it comes in, and Allah will reveal to you. But opening up the windows of your heart also entails something that you're supposed to have been doing prior to that. One is thinking that your condition can be made better. 2 is making sure that you've been practicing and adhering to the teachings of our holy prophet. For those who are being obedient to his divine instruction, they will receive the revelations that are necessary for you to continue to unfold righteously. And that's the way we get ourselves together and prepare. And that's where you can hear the sound, because you're practicing for hearing the sound. The prophet said, my sheep know the sound of my voice, and a stranger will not follow. By us coming here on a regular basis, we pray that we are all the sheep of our holy prophet, and we're not the stranger. If there's anyone downstairs, my brothers, please allow them to come up at this time. For all of our members and guests and everyone who has come in, again, welcome to Temple 71 Sunday School and Koran class. And double check your phones, because sometimes we may think that we cut them off or put them on vibration, and sometimes we may not have made the proper adjustment on that. And without further delay, I'd like to call forth our Grand Chief and moderator, the Moore Science Temple of America, who will be instructing our Sunday school class today, Brother R. Jones Beck.
Islam.
Islam.
Allah the Father,
The universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, through Ali. Amen.
Islam.
Islam.
Okay, who made it?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where is the nearest place we can meet him?
And Allah.
Who is Noble Juali?
He is Allah's prophet.
What is a prophet?
The prophet is Allah manifested in the flesh.
What is the duty of a prophet?
Save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Juali.
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913 AD.
Where?
Newark, New Jersey.
Where was Noble Juali born?
State of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish American?
Because we are descendants from Romans and born in America.
For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
We uplift the cause of humanity
How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish America?
by teaching them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islamism,
Is that a new or is that the old time religion?
old-time religion.
What kind of flag is the Moorish?
It was red flag with 5-point cruise star center.
What do the 5 points represent?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
How old is our flag?
It is over 10,000 years old.
Which is our holy day?
Friday.
Why?
Because Friday is the day in which man was formed in flesh, and for Friday we found God in flesh.
Who was Jesus?
He was a prophet of Allah,
Where was he born?
Bethlehem of Judah, and the house of David.
Who were his father and mother?
Joseph and Mary.
Will you give a brief the line genealogy through which Jesus came?
Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came upon Abraham, rose by Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph of Mary.
Why did Allah send Jesus to this earth?
So that his knowledge of the iron and corruption of the Christ and nations of Europe, governing portion of Palestine at that time.
Why is it important do you think it's why do you think it's important that we know about the genealogy of Jesus? Why do you think it's important that we know about the genealogy of Jesus? Come on, Mr. Rob.
If I make for one, it shows us our connection and how we can trace ourselves back to it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Good. Why else do you think it's important? What does that genealogy enable you an opportunity to do? From they just made the mention of the word. Connection. Trace yourself back. Yeah, you can trace yourself back. So what advantage does that give you in chasing the genealogy of Jesus? What advantage do you receive from being able to trace Jesus' genealogy? Knowing that it's a lineage.
The relationship.
Okay, that's good. The relationship. That's good.
Bloodline.
Then the bloodline. That's right. That's right. Come on, Mom.
Won't you and that go back to color?
Well, that's, yes. We're looking at that from that perspective, yes. You know. What else? What else do you think it helps you to do?
Become a master.
Well, that's down the line.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool, but that's a little further down the line. So what you think? I mean, come on, Mo, what you gonna say?
The saying goes, if you don't know the history, it repeats itself. The same thing that was going on back then is happening in this day and age, and you kind of get a better outlook on with the prophet is great name. What was happening back then?
Yeah, okay. But Jesus, the genealogy of Jesus, and we start to do what? What do we do when we say the genealogy of Jesus? Then what's the next step you do? You start what? You start tracing. You start naming names. You start to name names. Now, why do you think that's important? Why do you think names are mentioned? Because we're now naming names. Why do you think that's important?
Because we're honoring our profile.
Yes, we're honoring our forefathers. That's good. But what else?
For research.
To research. To research who?
Us.
The name.
The names that's being named. Why do you think you need to research the names that's being named? Come on, man.
So we can see the connection.
Yes, no question. But why else do you think it's important about the names?
To see the pattern.
To see a pattern. History. Your history. But a pattern is important because it had to be a certain what for that name to travel.
Spiritual.
It had to be. Those people had to be of a certain what? Spirit or a character. It teaches you the character of the individuals that were able to allow themselves to be used as mediums for that thought to travel. That thought couldn't travel if it was an idiot that was throwing everything out of harmony. Yeah.
It's a praise Allah unto the prophet. You asked the question,
Yeah.
what is the advantage?
Yes.
The advantage is knowing
Yes.
because you can know what you don't know.
Yes.
So in knowing, it gives you an advantage.
Yes.
Um, and when you speak about the names,
Yes.
these people
Yes.
held that thought.
Yes.
For that thought to travel,
Yes.
to manifest.
Yes. To cause that, to allow that thought to travel, to manifest. You can also see that these individuals were also what? Mars. Now, you can start to, if you just go deeper into the character of the person, you can see the practice of Muslims who hold themselves at a certain standard so that a divine thought can travel. You learn about what it takes to be used as an instrument to allow a divine thought to pass through you and you keep it going.
Trauma. And also in connection with what was said, these men were, all these great, remember what he said, some of the great fathers.
That's what he said. That's right.
And they had that distinction because they were obedient to the laws of God.
Yes.
And their obedience, they also had royal bloodline.
Yes.
There's a lot of connections to these great fathers through which Jesus came.
Yes.
And hear what it says, through which Jesus came.
Yes.
They set the pace, they paved the way.
Yes.
They came and they held their thought, they held it high.
Yes.
And they had, each and every one of them in their own character, as was displayed, played a significant role in that lineage. They all had a significant role. And you also may find out that many of them were related.
Yeah.
Sons, grandsons. So as you study that history, you find out all of this is connected in terms of that bloodline. And as was alluded to by someone, and we found out that Jesus was a true blood, and not just Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa. So it's a lot to that, as you said, Brother Glenn, as you go deep.
And it's good to be able to go deep. Because remember, what don't you want to know when the prophet makes his statement? Those who were with me 2,000 years ago are with me today. don't you want to know what the makeup of those individuals that were with them 2,000 years ago is, so that you can have something you can measure your character by?
Come on.
I mean, don't you want to know if you are one of the ones who were with him or not? Well, that takes research. And he gives us clues. The clues are the names. Learn something about the people who are identified as being great fathers for which Jesus came. Yes.
In this era of time, we're now following the prophet Noah Ali,
Yes.
and we are considered as instruments of Allah, human instruments, and He uses us in the pattern of holiness. If we stay in that lane.
Stay in the lane.
If you go, get out. You bounce out of that.
Come on, come on.
You know, I look at it that without knowing your history,
Yes.
it is so said that not knowing your history is like a tree without roots.
Yes.
So they are the roots
Yes.
that's going to bring you back
Yes.
to the Father.
Yes. 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 What's the science of purity? No, let me ask you this way. You might get it on that. What is the science of one who is striving to be pure of heart?
Process.
It is a process.
Let's see.
Come on, bro.
Cleansing.
Cleansing, yes, that's yes, 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 yes. But if there's a science to it. Come on, baby, what
At this time, reflection.
reflection? Yes, that's important. But it's a science to it. Now remember, what science is. It's the attainment of knowledge, practical application in study. What's the science of purity? You know, John, yeah, he told him. You know, it was told to him, but it's also pointed out in the chapter that yes, chapter 4.
Yeah.
But see, the science is there, but one has to be thinking about it. Because if not, you just read it, makes sense, and you keep going. But for us to become pure in heart, we must know the science. Because how are you going to become pure in heart, or how are you going to strive if you don't know the science of what purity, how to become pure in heart? Come on.
Like you said, science is the study of.
Yes, yes.
And in order for you to have the science of purity of heart,
Yeah,
it goes back to the whole original question, tracing yourself back.
yeah,
The ancient ways, because taught John.
yeah,
So somebody had to teach him.
yeah.
So it was a science that was passed down
Yeah.
that we're learning to actually study now
Yeah.
with the prophet border. So now we're tracing ourselves back, studying how we was pure in heart
Yeah.
back then,
Yeah.
bringing it up to speed today.
Okay. And remember, keep everything within the context of what we're talking about. Do not venture off. Keep it within the context of which we're speaking. Remember what you read. Remember what you've been exposed to. And then use that as your foundation. Wait a minute, brother.
I only can identify one person pure in heart, that's prophet Noah Ali. Everybody else.
What is the science of purity? When it says that we must be what? Pure in heart. So what is the science of purity? How do you become pure? Yeah, you do have to clean up, no question. No question. And that's what, yes. But it's a science to it, it's something that's connected to it that you might be missing, that you need to think about. Okay, I'll tell you what.
Sure.
No. What does cleansing consist of?
Turning away from sin.
Reform.
Oh, and you got to stir it up now. Yeah, but what does cleansing consist of? Yes, washing, but what does that washing consist of? Because there's more to it than just washing the body. Okay, yeah, clean up your thoughts, no question. No question. No question. Striving is no question.
Turn away from sin.
Yes, that's a part of it too. But the part that you're overlooking, what you say? Well, that's it. Yeah, that especially with some peace so you can deal with yourself. So I can hear that. Yeah. Listen. You know what the science is? The science is to give. The science is give and not demand. The science is give and not demand. What are you giving?
Love.
And what are you not doing? Demanding in return.
Yes.
Read it, and it tells you. The pure in heart will love and not will give love and not return. You know what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Give and demand. Now, how do you do that? Because we're talking about doing that. How do you give love and not demand it back? When I would like to see some type of appreciation for what I'm giving. Well, suppose you don't get it back. Do you say then, I'm not going to do that no more with him?
Come on, talk to him. That's right.
Come on, Sister Jones.
It's fine. I have to constantly remind myself and tell myself that Allah is given to me.
Yes, that's right.
That I'm supposed to do this because this is what Allah asks of me.
Yes.
And if I focus on Allah
Yes.
and what I'm doing for Allah,
Yes.
then I'm not focusing on, the situation. I'm doing this because I'm going to get something or because I want them to say thank you.
Yes.
Or because of whatever.
Yes.
You just do it.
Yes.
Because Allah says do it.
Yes. But what about we're striving to get to be able to acknowledge Allah's presence. But suppose we're still caught up on those illusions or the body or the forms that's put right before us.
Then we call remembrance to our aid.
We call remembrance to our aid when you see someone that you can actually do something for, and say that particular individual that you can actually do something for to help, have rubbed you the wrong way continuously.
Come on.
I'm not just saying one time, you got out of order one time. I'm saying every time you see this person, it's always got to be a puzzle.
Come on.
Something always got to be going on because every time you see this individual, there's always something going to get started. Now, how do you ride over that? How do you extend yourself now? Because now you got to fight what?
Yourself.
Yourself.
You better believe it.
And yourself, that lower self, has been what? Offended.
That's right.
And when it's offended, it creates a barrier
Come on.
that it does not desire you to move beyond. So now, I hear you, I got to see Allah. I can't see the barrier. I can't see the person. I got to actually discount the fact that person is even existing, and I got to go and deal with it because of who? Allah. How you do that?
Act 3.
Foundation.
How would you do it with your foundation? Because what we're talking about now, listen what we're talking about. We're talking about human emotions.
That's right.
We're talking about human passions.
That's right.
We're talking about feelings now.
That's right.
How do I overcome my passions, my emotions, and my feelings when I'm confronted with a situation like that? Come on.
You first, what I would think about is you must first be honest with yourself.
You got to.
You have to be honest that it affects you.
You got to.
It affects you.
You got to.
If you're not going to be honest with yourself, it affects you. You're not going to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it affects you. And it hurts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you are willing
Yes.
to fight yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're striving to be true to what you say you're striving to be true to,
Yeah.
there is going to be some challenges.
Yeah.
But it does bother you.
Yeah.
to give love and love to the man in return.
Yeah.
It is affect you if you are not careful.
Yeah.
Because we've been brought up to believe we give something, we're supposed to get something back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it affects me. So, and it may not, and it's not gonna happen overnight.
Yeah.
Because human behavior, that human self, that emotional self of your lower self will continue to know at you like, why do you deal with it?
Yeah.
And it can confuse you
Yeah.
to a point where you may not even remember
Yeah.
that you serve your near kin
Yeah.
and those who are no kin.
Yeah.
The stranger at your gates are for to seek to do your harm.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge, and I think that's the wrestling with oneself
Yeah.
that I think that you must do to be able to overcome.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge.
Yeah. 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 Well,
Yes, sir. So, well, we're learning this, and one of the things we have to keep in mind as we're going forward with this, and even right now, is that you have to be sincere. And that's the part of you that you gotta really, come into. Because that's the way you're gonna get out. That's how you're gonna be able to hear with patience, the encouragement, and pay the exertion. We have to be sincere. And as we're being sincere, that we can continue to strive, because you know it's going to be challenging. It's going to be the ones who are going to come at you, but you're going to go through the things that are necessary because you hear that, you know that there's an ultimate service that you have to give, regardless of the challenges that you face. The sincerity is part of the key.
yeah. Yeah. Sincerity is part of the key. Yeah. Come on, Rachel.
This
Yeah.
my thought was humility. You know, we were talking about the science and you mentioned emotions. You know, I was thinking humility. You know, weak and ignorant as I are, humble as I ought to be. You know, when we humble ourselves, then it puts us in a position to open, to learn, to hear the instruction.
Right. Right. Well, definitely, you're gonna have to be humble. I mean, none of us will be successful in our attempt to renew our acts and amend our ways if we don't become humble. Because humbleness is just simply admitting to yourself that what? You don't know everything.
Right.
You know? And maybe just because someone said something to me that I may not like, I should examine it. Because it may have some merit in it. Don't discount it just because it's not said the way I like, or it's coming from someone that I may not be so attached to right now.
You know, Brother Lee, the word come to mind, dissimulation.
Okay. Okay.
And when I thought about it was, in sincerity, it talks about dissimulation.
Okay.
And see, I don't know, I had an opportunity just to take a look at that word a little more.
Right.
And that's a powerful word,
Right.
because it talks about pretending,
Right.
not being true to yourself,
Right.
not being real with yourself.
Right.
See, and that's a very important thing. And sometimes I have to look at me, and we could easily practice dissimulation and not even realize it.
Right. Right.
Because we can easily say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But are you really doing it?
Right. Right.
Are we really doing it?
Right.
And then, and we can give the impression that we are doing it.
Right. Right.
So that's when the brother singing, I was thinking about the word dissimulation.
Right. Right. But we also have to really revisit ourselves and ask ourselves, what do we really want?
Praise God.
What am I really searching for? Come on.
Praise the Lord, I'm about not to be everything was said, but it just come to mind. You hear the sound that the prophet said that if we can get you more to think, you can save yourself. Is that safe to say?
You say it.
Peace.
Praise God.
Because it's been said, he said, also when I get you.
Mm.
Yeah, he also said, when I get you. Because if we stay in this movement and we really, really identify why we're here, I'm here because I really want to be better.
Yes, yes.
I'm not satisfied completely with the way I've been. I'm not satisfied with the things that I keep experiencing.
Right.
It has to be something better than this.
Right.
So what am I doing? I'm thinking that my condition can be better. Now, if we're trying to get better, then we're looking for every avenue we can to identify if we can travel down that way to get better. What is it going to take for me to get better? Well, what did he say? What did he say about me getting better? Because again, he explains what that takes. What does it take for you to get better? A desire. You must have a true desire, not a desire stimulated by someone outside of yourself. See, doing it for my mother, doing it for my sister, doing it for my wife, doing it for my child, that's not going to suffice. That's not going to hold you. You got to do it for who? Yourself. Take it and save who? Yourself.
You know, and then also he said, if you think,
Yeah.
you know, so you got to start thinking like the prophet said.
Yeah.
He said, if you think your conditions can be better, join the Moore Science Temple of America.
And then here comes another part of the puzzle. What is doing better to me?
That's real.
Is doing better to me having access to finance?
Come on.
Is doing better to me represented by my material accomplishments?
Come on.
What is really doing better to me? We got to make sure that we can determine the superficial from what's real.
Come on.
Because what is doing better? Come on.
Praise God, not a problem. So my thoughts, I think, is to go inside examination and get close to God.
Okay.
Break God a lot.
Okay.
That'll do it better for me.
Okay. Okay.
I want to get saved.
Okay. 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 But the question is, again, and that's cool, we must all ask ourselves that question. What is doing better to me? What does doing better mean? What does it mean to do better to me? Come on.
So to me, I think seek after truth.
Okay.
You know, learning the truth.
Okay.
You know, when we talk about traveling that avenue, that road, you know, to
Okay.
trying to find the truth.
Okay.
The prophet, he brings us divine instruction.
Okay.
You know, when we speak about humility, like you said, it let us know that a lot we don't know.
Okay.
There's still much wisdom to be learned.
Okay.
So it's a lot I don't know.
That's right.
But as a seeker
Yes.
after truth,
Yeah.
I'm striving
Yeah.
to find the truth. That's
Yeah.
what's gonna make me better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
learn to love instead of hate.
Yeah.
You know, treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
You know, it teaches you the do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
You know, so if I can just keep following the truth and
Yeah.
going after the truth,
Yeah.
it's gonna make me free
Yeah.
from sin.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
And with that, it's application.
Yeah. Yes.
Because we all read and we study and we learn. It's not in the possession.
Yes.
In order to use it, it's application. We got to apply. He said, the wise man feels his imperfection as humble. He
Yes.
labors in vain
That's right.
for his own approbation.
That's right.
So he's not satisfied, as you indicated. You can't be satisfied with where we at today.
Yes.
Yeah, you better than what you were yesterday. But is that good? Is that enough?
That is enough.
Is that desire to stop it? Are we at it? Are we going to stop at the limit of the pole?
Right.
So we want to go beyond the pole
Right.
because there is no limit
That's right.
for eternity.
That's right.
Yes, yes.
That's right.
That's right.
We want to make our, there ain't no pole.
That's right.
That's right.
So
That's
we
right.
got to keep going.
That's right.
And we labor in vain
That's right.
and not be satisfied, not why you change his mind.
That's right.
Can't you say, well, that's what it is. That's what you get right now.
That's right.
So you gotta keep going.
We gotta keep going.
And to do better, it means that you're not satisfied here on earth.
That's right.
Imitate the prophet.
Yes.
That's what we're striving to do, to get better.
That's right.
Because he's saved and he knows the way.
That's right.
He's come to bring us the key of civilization so that we can save ourselves.
That's right. That's right.
So imitating the prophet is your goal of trying to get better
That's right.
because he's already there.
That's right. That's true.
So we can't be satisfied. We want to keep striving.
That's right. That's right. See, keep this in mind too. Thank you. Keep this in mind. Each moment provides you an opportunity to do better in some area of your development.
Come on, come on,
Yes.
come on.
Each moment, there is an opportunity for you to do better. Each moment that you are allowed an opportunity to breathe.
That's right, that's right.
I can do better in something.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be trying to look for something great to do better in.
Right.
Be content with the good that is within your reach. Come on.
It's Lord. Praise the Lord and prophet. That's what came to my mind. Accomplishments,
Yes.
achievements,
Yes.
establishments,
Yes.
and not necessarily physical.
Yes.
I think you know once you set goals with yourself
Right.
and you're able to reach some of them goals,
Right.
I think that's a form of doing better.
Right.
Because looking back on it, you didn't have this goal, you wasn't
Right.
trying to reach this goal,
Right.
but later on in life, in the future, you didn't attain this goal.
Right. Right.
So I think it's just about setting some goals for yourself and reaching them.
Okay.
Big.
Let me ask you a question. Before you set goals, what must you first do? What do you think before the goal?
Mhm.
What must you do first?
I must see the goal.
Okay, you gotta see it.
Yeah, I got it.
You gotta take a self-examination.
Yeah, no question. Come on.
I think you gotta write it down.
Okay, that's good. Well, come on.
Be realistic.
Be realistic. Yes, be realistic with yourself. No question. You know? But remember, before you set a goal, you gotta have some principles. Because if you don't have no principles, your goals may be awry. What's your principles? Remember what he said. Stay with what he said. Establish thyself what? Principles of what? And forever what? That's your guide. That keeps you within the proper context. And it keeps your goals within a proper context.
Praise God.
Because sometimes we can set goals that cause us to seek after impossibilities.
That's right. That's real.
Make sure that the goals are attainable.
It's not, sir. Then at that point, you may never reach the goal if you didn't set it too high.
If you don't have
Possibilities.
principles, you don't have what your alternative is going to be that you set it too high. Because look, it's easy without a principle to seek after impossibilities.
Yes.
I don't have nothing holding me back. I don't have anything to say thus far and no farther. I'm out there now. You know, I used to say, I'm gonna stop smoking. No, I ain't want to stop smoking, but I used to set a goal to stop smoking. I never stopped smoking when I set a goal. I got some principles. And then I said, look, I'm gonna stop lying to myself.
That's right.
Yeah. That's gonna be the first thing I do. Stop lying to myself.
Come on.
Come on. So I use the principle of truth.
Praise God.
And once I started setting principles, then I was able to accomplish some things. And that's one of the things that's important. in this movement. You must establish yourself what? Principles. You can't come in here from the street and think that you can do all this stuff and you ain't got no principles, except the principles you bring with you from the street. Them principles ain't gonna do you no good in here, because they were built on a shaky foundation. Meaning they only served us for what we wanted to get for our selfish sake.
And with that, here in the Moral Science Temple of America, now that we have, we're looking at life, we're trying to see life differently from a higher realm. Whatever goals we're setting now, they shouldn't be rooted solely in earthly gratification. They gotta be rooted in the higher realm. They gotta have, as she said, the principles have to be established. The goal has to be something more lofty than just being able to attain something here in life on earth. While we do have earthly salvation, you gotta put the divine in there first. Even to reach earthly salvation that Allah has prescribed for us to reach. So those things we have to make sure that, and even setting goals, you gotta be sure that it's rooted in what Allah would like for us to have. It can't be something based on man.
Yeah, Lord. Oh, sister, wait a minute, sister, excuse me, wait a minute. Sister Elliott, are you, see, I see you, I don't know if you're saying peace, once they speak, or I saw
I had it up 3 times.
Oh, you did like that. Let's do it like this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, she said let you go.
Go ahead.
Would you want to let her go?
Yes, sir.
But she said let you go.
Okay,
Are you gonna go?
yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, praise the Lord, not a problem. With all that been said, I can trace back to when you said just be humble and come in here and want to learn.
Yeah.
Just want to learn, be open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't limitate yourself to nothing. Just come in, be humble, nice, and be ready to do work for our mental.
Yeah. Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah. Thank you, Sister Elliott.
I was going back to your question about what is doing better
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about the actions of the soul.
Okay.
You know, I'm thinking, understanding will and reason and stuff, right?
Okay.
And use those to control that soul and stay in order. I think doing better is the way I think.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and be willing to stick with what I,
Yeah.
gonna do. And my reasoning of the consequences at the end if I don't stick with it.
Yeah.
And as well as the consequences if I do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And my understanding of thinking about the actions of the soul. And that's what I want to do better because it helps
I
my
hear you.
soul.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Nice, nice.
I hear you. Because your thoughts will control your actions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice, nice.
That's called self-control.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a hard thing to
Yes,
master.
yeah.
Yes.
Especially when we've been into this environment our whole life.
And reinforcing that thought.
Exactly. And we know the Lord's self is
Oh,
Lord.
no question.
Yes.
He's powerful, he's strong.
And I mean, and that's not raising the Lord's self up too high. That's acknowledging the influence that he has.
Yes.
Because Jesus himself had to acknowledge the fact
Exactly.
that he's strong. And now, not only do I have to acknowledge that the Lord's self is strong, now I got to ask myself, do I have the strength to deal with that? Because that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to become something that we were meant to be, but we weren't taught to be. And now we're being taught to be what we were meant to be. And now we got to stop being what we weren't taught to be that didn't give us no advantage at all. That has never done us any good, but has always harmed us.
Well said.
But you know what I mean? Because that's what we're trying to do now. Stop being like that.
Yes.
That stuff ain't it's not to our advantage to continue to be like that. Look what's happening, or look what's taking place with unprincipled people. They dressing any kind of way, they doing anything, and they don't care who see it. Then they got so bold that they put themselves on Facebook to let everybody see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they don't care. But that's what happens. How can their actions be right if what they have no what? And rules are principles. They don't have no principles. And without principles, you are not only unruly, but you are a detriment to not only yourself, but to others around you. That's why you can't endanger yourself with no food. You see that? You got to go the other way. Don't stop and try to look to see, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing?
Yeah.
You gotta let that stuff go. He says when you see it, you get the glimpse, or you see a shot of it, what did he tell you to do? Go the other way. Well, these are instructions for our protection. He's telling us how to protect ourselves. But for you to be protected, you have an obligation too. What's your obligation?
Stay in the circle.
Stay in the circle.
To obey.
And yes.
Hear his voice and obey.
Yes. And remember, again, establishing to yourself principles. Use the principles he done brought for us. Learn how to use them. And we didn't got them because we can what's the principles? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We got it, but we don't have it. We got it, but we don't have it. Because you don't have it until you what? Use it. Yeah.
I was thinking, when it said, what people represent the Lord's self.
Yes.
Those who would cast out.
Yes.
Those who accept their
Yes.
teaching.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So these unprincipled people
Yes.
accept those teachings
Yes.
as a way of life.
And when we try to be like them, we do the same thing.
It's all right with them.
Yeah.
But when you establish principles
Yeah.
and you're not trying to live that life,
Yeah.
you see it, but you don't want to see it.
Yeah. But look, and when you start to live principle, remember, the unprincipled got a problem with you.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
They're going to talk about you. They're going to slander you. They're going to do everything they can to discredit you.
That's right.
Because you're not being like them. Come on, Mark.
Going back to a little way back, when you said things are being challenged.
Yeah.
You gotta really, really, really watch your thoughts of being challenged. Because you're being challenged every day. You come out the house and you be going different places, stores, business, whatever you want at, driving, whatever. You gotta watch what door you open.
Yeah.
Because you're being challenged. You know, like you said, the world's arrived, and it's only more arrived when you put yourself involved into it. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Oh, okay.
Our principle keep us safe.
Yes.
Read up.
Yes.
Come on, praise God. But and Brother Thompson Bay said, Thompson here said, good, we're being challenged. But we're not just being challenged when we go out.
Yeah.
We're being challenged while we're in our homes.
Yeah.
See, the Lord said don't stop working unless we go out.
Right.
But because we're at home.
Right.
Some of our greatest challenges are when we're at home.
Right.
We just meet the challenges that we think at home when we go out. Because there are other challenges out there that wants to be a part of the way we think.
Right.
So we being every day of our life, every time we wake up, we're being challenged.
That's
because
right.
the Lord's self, his job is to try to get you to follow his way of operating.
That's right. And remember, he's trying to get us, our Lord selves want us to react outside. So what he does is work on us inside.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
You know?
Yes, and that's the thing I was sitting there thinking. No matter where you go, you stay in the house all day or go out.
That's right.
It's still going to come down to you within.
That's right.
And the principles allow you to stop, take a pause.
That's right.
I'm gonna tell you, let me just share this real fast. I'm coming here to the tunnel. I had to make a stop and I turn the corner and pull over. And before I can pull it to the parking spot, this guy with a motorcycle, he comes pulling on my right hand side. And this squeeze right there, I'm going into a space to park. So I didn't say nothing for it, and I just really, he kind of glanced over and kept going, and I said, you know, praise God.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how you know, I'm not saying every situation, but I have to think, you know, what in the world? To myself. And then keep it going, because it's just like you said, without principle, there was no way he put it in behind me trying to get around. And wasn't trying to park, but trying to go around me to go up the street. And that was just the craziest thing I ever seen. But, you know, those are the times we live in. But the last part I want to say was what you said in terms of once we establish principles, it goes back to the other thing. You got to use the good that's within your reach. Good that's within your reach. You're not going to be able to deal with every situation beyond what you can do in that moment.
That's right.
And in that moment, the good that's within your reach is as much you can do about that situation or that condition at the time.
That's right. That's right. That's right. See, remember something about this book, about this pamphlet. This pamphlet is a diagram also of how to live our lives, especially during the end of time. This is how we got to do this. See, and remember, people are going to do outrageous things, but this is what you have to watch out for, coming from you. You may not say nothing, but your expression can say it all. And that expression can start the fire. You want to be, well, I guess a good word would be emotionless. You don't want to show no emotion. Because anything that you do, you don't have to say nothing. But they see, remember, the devil is looking for confrontation.
Check your impulses.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, check your impulses.
Yes. But see, but the way you got to do that, you got to watch what you're thinking in the privacy of your own home.
That's right.
How do I think? When ain't nobody watching?
Come on.
When I'm by myself, what am I thinking about? What am I feeding? Because that's what he wants you to go out there with if it ain't right. That's all he needs you to do is carry that kind of thought out there, and the next thing you know, as soon as the condition presents itself, you're going to do it. You got to watch yourself. Be on, look, God thyself. What? Is that not a diagram of how to get through this madness? You got to think, you got to use it. Learn how to use it. Not just the first stage, I know you recite it. We learn to recite it. But you got to learn to use it.
I was thinking earlier, I think you mentioned about purifying our heart.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about being in the home or alone, the thoughts that you hold, or you think, because thoughts will come. But when you hold that thought, when you hold that thought and entertain it, it kind of sticks to you like glue. So when you start walking, you carry that thought with you. You know, so when you run up on that situation, you already got that thought with you.
See, remember, we gotta go to the Koran, but remember, we are thoughts traveling through thoughts. Remember, we are also thoughts that's being met with a multiplicity of thinking. All kind of thoughts, because we're traveling. Thoughts travel through the ether. And we're traveling through the ethers, and we're confronted with all these thoughts out there that's also traveling with us. So if you don't guard your thoughts or your thinking, you can get involved with somebody else's thinking. And then ask yourself, how in the world did I get involved with this? Well, you weren't thinking. And thoughts think. You're going to think whether you want to think or not. But there's going to be times when you're going to have thoughts that are not appropriate for the condition that you're in. That's when I'm not thinking about the condition I'm in. So if I'm not thinking about the condition I'm in that condition, then how are you going to get out of that without getting hurt? If you don't have no principle. So, yeah. No, listen. These are what the thoughtless think. The prophet tells you about the thoughtless thinker. The thoughtless think about what? Thoughtless things.
Yeah. I was thinking, back in the day when they had leprosy.
Yeah.
And you would see a person with leprosy up there holler, unclean.
Yeah.
Unclean. It's the same thing with the dog.
Yeah.
When you traveling and you see these unclean thoughts, you better get away from them.
Yeah.
Unclean.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it's okay with you.
Yeah.
You're going to pick it up, you're going to hold on to it.
Look, and we got to go in here. Look what he's been able to do. He's been able to change unclean thinking into entertainment that people pay to see. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And people flock to see it.
Yes.
An unclean thought.
That's because of the shame and the glory.
It's been misplaced.
Slow.
That's right.
Slow.
You pick it up.
Slow.
But anyway, praise the Lord for that thought. Look, let's go to chapter 14. Because we are talking about something here. A thought that's manifested as what? Purity. Don't forget that. Purity made what? And what's the purpose of it being made flesh?
So we can see it.
So we can see it. So we can comprehend. That's right. But without the gift of the understanding, you misunderstand purity.
Mm-hmm.
You start to label purity as being a madman. He's out of his mind. Look how he look. You see? You caught up in the physical manifestation. Because without understanding, you misjudge. When you shouldn't be judging anyway.
Praise the Lord.
See, that's the whole piece. What happens with see, that's just the illusion is created to stop us from seeing what's really there.
Right.
Slow.
And without understanding, you go on what you see.
What you know.
And you start making judgment calls, and you start making choices based on what you think you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what you think you hear.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you said, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Even when he informs us how often that our eyes
Yes.
can distinguish
Yeah.
truth from error.
But we got to understand, we have to ask him for the understanding to be able to determine what that means.
I understand, sir. I understand. I truly understand because the way we think has a lot to do with how we see.
Yes.
We see.
No, you see what you think.
Yes. And if you're thinking that this person is of
That's what you see.
without even really investigating if that's the case.
That's why it's so dangerous when you talk about it.
Come on.
Because now you're planting seeds in people's minds, and what they're doing, they're visualizing the seed that you're planting. And they haven't even taken time to really find out for themselves because they're relying on you because me and you cool. And I talk to you every day. Yeah, you talk about people to me every day. So therefore, a lot of what I judge people on is based on what me and you talk about. And then you find out somewhere down the line, if you're fortunate, and Allah bless you so that you can start thinking like that, He lets you be able to determine for yourself.
Yes.
and stop being influenced by other people's thoughts. They're not your thoughts, but you acting on them. And then if somebody pull you up, you get upset because you don't talk about my man like that. That's my partner. Yeah, but you are a product of his thinking. And he's a product of yours. And both of you are thinking incorrectly. You don't even know the man. You don't even know the sister. Everything your judgment is being made is based on something that you've heard. From who? Each other. Now how crazy is that?
Come on.
Yes.
Started off with that.
Yes. Yes.
Thursday is so important for us because we're gonna see things. And we're gonna be influenced by each other.
That's right. You better bet it. That's
Yeah,
right.
all right.
That's right.
You wouldn't say that if it wasn't true.
That's right.
But you might be mistaken. I gotta know for myself.
That's right. That's right.
But that comes from trust.
Right.
They trust each other like that.
Right.
So
Right.
they're gonna believe what each other say.
Right.
Well,
I know you had a partner or buddy that you trusted to a certain extent.
Yeah, but listen what you just said. To a certain extent.
And then that's when your own thinking came into play after they said.
Yes.
But you could go on what he tell you, what he say, based on y'all trust, up until a certain point, when you begin to analyze it yourself.
But see, what happens is, I'm with him as long as I'm agreeing with what he's saying.
That's right. That's right.
But once I get to the point, like you said, where I no longer agree, all right, and usually there's going to be a confrontation.
and you have one anyway, both y'all thinking the way you think. It's gonna be something you're gonna say to me or do it, and I ain't gonna agree with it.
So I guess the best thing to do is to learn to what?
Think for yourself. Think for yourself.
Which being a yes man.
Yes.
And go back to the subject we've been speaking about.
Yes.
Establish unto yourself principles
Yes.
of action.
Yes.
Because man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed.
That's right.
The Bible warns us about that. And we all are truth and falsehood strangely
That's
mixed.
right. That's right.
But like you said, but we have to establish principles
Yes.
that, because I don't see it,
Yes.
don't mean I have to. If I don't see it, then I shouldn't agree to it,
Yes.
no matter who says it.
But what you need, babe? What you need? You need courage enough for what?
Truth is truth. And that's a real peace.
Yes.
And if you don't like me because I don't accept what you say, then it wasn't meant for us to have a relationship anyway. Because now you're trying to enslave me
Yeah.
to think like you think.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to anybody, and that's not what the prophet brought.
Yeah.
The prophet didn't bring us to enslave one another because we don't agree with one another.
In fact, and some of us can get so much into slavery that we can just take it's called subliminal suggestion.
God Almighty.
We can just take someone's suggestion.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, let's go to chapter 14. The ministry of John the Harbinger. John the Harbinger returns to Hebron, lives as a hermit in the wilds, visits Jerusalem, and speaks to the people. Now, who was John the Harbinger? He was a forerunner of Jesus. What is a forerunner?
One that paves the way.
One that comes to what? Before. Before what?
Prophet.
Okay, and what is the duty of a harbinger?
Stir
Yeah, to wake them up, to stir them up, to prepare them to what? To meet the king. In ancient days, they had people to go before the king's presence. And what they used to do, they used to use instruments to get the attention of the people, to let them know the king is coming. So they're calling forth by using these instruments to get the people to prepare for the king's presence. What? Go ahead.
And also, I was thinking about when, before the king comes, you know how to put the roses
Yeah,
on the ground?
they do all that. Yeah.
And clean it up, that's the purity part.
Yeah.
But they didn't want their feet to touch
Yeah.
the ground.
Yeah. But remember, this was the outward show.
Exactly.
Then look at the harbinger for Jesus. Totally different.
Totally.
That's right.
And your heart be open to the
That's
message that's
right.
coming.
That's right. That's right. But he had to show them a manifestation. So what was the manifestation that he had to show? Yes, but how did he, how to bathe? How to bathe. The rite of what? Baptism. He had to go that route. Because in the times of Jesus, they believed what they saw. So we had to show him something. I got a gift here. And this is symbolic. This is not it, but it's a symbolic gesture. Yes. That's not outward, but where? In. You got to start thinking about being what? In.
Well, it's what he had to show the people outward.
He showed them outward how to go. By the demonstration outward, he could explain the inward transition or the inward transformation that was taking place.
So in other words, the multitude of people had to see that.
Yeah, they had to see it.
Right, before they could believe it.
Because they had to see what he was talking about. I'm cleaning you up, but this is only symbolic because it's something else that's being cleaned inside you.
Exactly. Comprehends
Yes, the things they see.
the inner life.
That's right. That's right. What they see. But look what happened. Look what happened to us. He took us up, whereas now we understand it ain't the outer. But we also understand this. The outer is a reflection of the inner. See, the outer manifests the inner. There's an outer thought, and there's an inner thought. One is a reflection. You know, you see an act of kindness, somebody do something nice for you, and they say, here, this is for you, this is for your family. You don't know if that person is selfish or avaricious or not. Because from the selfish and avaricious, so how do you tell the difference? From avarice, one who is avarice, or one who is genuinely doing something kind?
Not expect nothing in return.
Huh?
And expect nothing in return.
That's right.
Unconditional.
That's right. But you also, it's good to know a person's principles. You see people who may not even know you're looking at them. You see them do certain things, and they do things that, man, that's not right. But when they come before you, they project themselves as being right. But you already know that ain't right. So when they offer you something, I better not take this. Because I've seen something else that indicates to me that it may not be to my advantage to accept this from you.
It's something
Go
attached.
back to present.
Yeah, Mom.
Go back to present.
You got
Because
it.
see our desires
Yes.
and all that may evolve.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something we like or something we might
Yes,
think
yes,
we need.
yes.
So it takes courage
Yes.
to say, okay, wait a minute, no, because the price
That's it's
for
going too much.
receiving
That's right.
is not worth what you get.
That's right. That's right. But see, that's when you start to have your inner conversations with yourself.
Yeah.
See, we will learn, excuse me, as we go along in our human encounters. We will learn how to listen to the voice that gives us the instruction as to whether to proceed or to discontinue the exchange. The voice will tell you. Because the eyes, we already know, they're the sentinels, but how often are they unable? We may not always pick it up.
That's right.
So we got to have some kind of guidance. Where's it going to come from? And that guidance or that voice is solely dependent on the thoughts that you continuously to entertain. Because he makes his words and the semblance to you.
Come on.
And if you're entertaining those things that are of likeness, that's what you're gonna hear. And that voice will tell you, go ahead and take it aside. Go ahead, take it.
Sir, so,
Yes.
so is it possible that the voice can be distorted?
Of course. If you're not principled. Only if you don't have principle. That's the only way that you won't be able to tell the semblance from the truth. That's right. That's right. See, your principles keep everything within a what?
Bounds of moderation.
Yes. Yes. So when you're confronted with certain situations, act according to your principles.
That's why it's not good to compromise your principle.
Once you compromise, they're no longer principles. See, you've taken a principle, compromise it, it's no longer that principle, it's been compromised. I can't use that no more. Because that ain't what that is. It's now become a semblance.
Was it ever established?
That's the question, was it? Because if it can be altered like that, it never was established. It had nothing. So how could your actions be right? So that's why it's important. You know, think about when he says, establish unto yourself principles of action. And forever, not sometime, but forever. And that takes what? Takes practice.
Because like a rule, you can kind of bend a rule to make it beneficial to whatever.
Oh, you mean,
You know what I mean? But you can't bend a principle.
No.
Right. Because you just said.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
At first when you said that, I said, what is this? But I got it, Mo. I got it. Yeah.
Rules you can take and bend and not necessarily break a rule, but you can bend it.
Right.
But when it comes to principles, you can't.
Well, look at it like this. If the principle is established, the rule can't be bent.
Yes.
You can't.
Now you can ask the law.
If the principle is established. But if the principle is not established, it has no foundation, you can alter the rule that comes from it.
We see it every day.
See, the rule gotta be rooted in truth.
It got to.
The truth don't change.
It got to.
So if it's not rooted in truth, you just got a rule.
You can make that thing go any way you want.
You switch up
Every time. And then justify it.
Right. But the truth ain't gonna change, so if it's the truth, it's still the truth. Ain't no bending it. That's right. You gotta deal with it. That's what we just talked about. When you sincere, man, you got courage enough for the truth. That's right. That's right. Even if it doesn't, even if he feels a little uncomfortable after he has to deal with it, with self. Because he's trying to be straight, he's trying to be right with himself. I got some faults and failures. I gotta face up to them. I need to work on this. Yeah. You gonna keep saying I'm all right, you ain't gonna work on it.
Right. That's right. And that's also in line with the word strive. You'll strive. That's all we're talking about is what entails striving. When you're striving, what are you doing?
Putting forth an effort.
Putting forth an effort.
Yes.
Putting forth an effort. It came to pass when John, the son of Zacharias and Elizabeth, Zacharias being who? Right, and of course Elizabeth being who? Had finished all his studies in the Egyptian school. Now, that's something that you also need to pay attention to. Why the Egyptian school? What makes the Egyptian school? important in this, in his instruction?
High school, adult.
Yeah, they were. They were.
A lot of that has knowledge.
Yes, they were.
Is that what the sacred teachers were?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, yeah,
Safe to say the same school that Jesus went through?
well, I would say I would say I'm sure he visited those schools, but remember, the Egyptian schools were not the only schools, because Elam and Salome had a school, and they weren't in it. Who? After a time, they flipped. They flipped. After a time, they flipped. That's why they lost Egypt lost its pristine purity. They lost it because they gave it up when they allowed the priests to come. It's the priests started dictating, and they got away from the old way. See, remember, Mazrim was a priest, a high priest, and he taught the Egyptian philosophy. He taught, and the Egyptian philosophy, as we go back, if you go back and you start to study, it was based on the concept of one God. If you go back, but that's something. Yeah. It came to pass when John, the son of Zacharias, and Elizabeth had finished all his studies in the Egyptian school, he returned to Hebron, where he abode for certain days. And then he sought the wilderness and made his home in David's cave, where many years before he was instructed by the Egyptian sages. Why was it called David's cave? Why do you think it was called David's cave? Who was David?
King David.
Okay, King David. Okay.
Some of the great fathers who was Jesus.
Okay. But why do you think it was called David's cave? Do you know a little history about David?
Place where he sought refuge at one time.
That's right.
Yes.
He sought refuge there because he was being so. That's right. By who?
I can't remember that.
The first king of Israel, Saul. Saul was jealous of it because, after all, David did what? He slayed Goliath. And when he slayed Goliath, you got to understand, the people were afraid. They knew the history of Goliath. They knew his reputation. They knew the Philistines and what the Philistines were going to do to him. So they were afraid. And Saul, even though he was the king, he didn't have enough to go out and take him out. Even his own army was afraid. And Goliath stood and challenged all of them in Israel and cussed them out and cussed Allah. And nobody went down there to fight that giant. They was intimidated. They was afraid. So here come David. And what David does is confront him. He steps to him. And when he steps to him, he slays him. So who you think the people are going to talk about? David. They sang David's praises.
Yes, instead of Saul.
Instead of Saul. And Saul got jealous. He got jealous. Nothing. Look, didn't even stop to think the fact, man, this man saved my kingdom.
Yeah, right.
But they say Saul killed 1,000, but David killed tens of thousands. In other words, he was talking about when he slayed the Philistine army. So, he went to that cave and he sought refuge. And it became identified as David's cave. That's just a little up himself.
Everybody didn't know where it was at.
Right, that's right, they didn't.
They didn't know where he was
That's right.
This revealed to certain people.
That's right. And that's right. That's right. Just revealed to certain people. That's right. Yeah.
It's not, praise the Lord, prophet, Ali. Is this David of Elijah? It relates to that
Yes,
purity.
yes.
David of
Remember,
Elijah.
yes,
is
yes.
purity.
Yes. Because when David slayed Goliath physically, he did allow his people to be open to the light of truth. Because if he hadn't slayed, they would have been put in captivity, slavery. And what happened to us would have happened to them. See, they snuffed out all of our what? History. That's how they were able to put on us the names of Negro, Black, Colored, and Ethiopian. But they had to first remove our thoughts of who we are. And then they could substitute with who we're not. So it's the same thing. That's what usually people go into slavery, sometimes that's what happens. Okay, peace.
Peace.
Islam?
Islam.
I want to thank our Grand Seeker moderator, Brother Jones Bay, for leading us and instructing us in Sunday school today. Very uplifting, very informative. Certainly, I want to thank each and every one of you for your participation. At this time, I want to call for the Assistant Grand Governor of Washington, D.C., Brother T. Dozier Bay, to read the proclamation from the prophet.
Islam.
Islam.
Once again, we rise, giving praise to Allah, honor to His holy and blessed prophet, Ali, founder of the Muslim Temple of America. Prophet warns all Muslims, government order to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing the cards of Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember your cause for your salvation. Failing to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive a reward from Allah for their deeds. All true Moors will must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn on their card, button, cease wearing their turban or fez, and return to the state where the prophet found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble True Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet in the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah, redeem his people from their sins by order of prophet Noble True Ali. Peace.
Peace.
Islam?
Yes,
We want to thank our Assistant Grand Governor of Washington, D.C., Brother T. Dozier Bay, for reading of our warning. At this time, we want to now open the meeting floor up.
My protector,
My God,
my God,
and my salvation,
and my salvation,
by night,
and by day,
and by day,
and by day,
through his holy prophet,
through his holy prophet,
through Ali.
through Ali.